Her clinical choice of tense makes her meaning instantly obvious. Brody, stop gooning. This is a gross setting.
This is what I'm paid to do.
Oh my god. With a disappointing feeble sound, the door breaks off of its hinges and falls into the room. Dust billows like white smoke in the beam of Ryoko's light. The room is large, at least 35 meters square. The tile floor is set with drainage grates. And there's no mistaking the operating table sitting in the middle of the room. Cabinets full of enamelware and drugs line one side of the space, and against the opposite wall stand a writing desk and bookshelves. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look out.
There's a pentagram on the bottom right.
Is there really? Oh, yeah. That's not a pentagram.
No,
that's a Jewish star.
All right, time to cancel me.
That fast, huh? 10 times 5.
God. I don't know my shapes, Ronnie. Those things. Koji recognizes the mysterious objects cluttering the tables and shelves, however, are beyond his comprehension.
Is Dr. Ogai a Jew?
I have no idea. I didn't even know like Japanese would practice Jewish stuff.
Pretty much non-existent, no.
Mirrors delicately engraved with complex patterns, grotesque statues and masks that must have been left by a race of savages, tapestries woven in nauseating arrays of color, a crystal ball the size of an infant's head. Any would fetch a hefty price at an antique store, if not for the one thing they all have in common. Every last piece is so low. I can't fucking see the words because of the background. It's so hard to read.
It is pretty bad, yeah.
Every last piece is so loathsome and foul that Koji feels sick just looking at it. It's as though each was designed for the sole sinister purpose of immortalizing its creator's hatred of the world. Rare-looking books of the sort that he found in Ogai's home are piled here and there, and on one shelf are stacked some scrolls that look to be made of some kind of sheepskin or papyrus. Whatever it is, it's not paper. That weird shit, I don't know.
The papyrus.
Papa, Perry the Platypus. Finally, there are the indecipherable chalk patterns and symbols filling every available space on the walls. Even the two sliding blackboards are covered in strange, unreadable scribblings. Just looking at them is making Koji dizzy. Don't look, Ryoko snaps at him.
いいか、ここから動くな。絶対に何かに触ったりするな。目を引くようなものがあっても、見つめたりしちゃいけない。
Listen, don't move, and whatever you do, don't touch anything. Even if something draws your attention, do not look at it.
まずいと思ったらすぐに目をそらして自分の靴を見ろ。わかった。
If you see something that feels wrong, stare at your shoes. Got it? Cower in the corner while mommy works.
Here's a fidget spinner.
Your kid, entertain yourself. Ryoko switches her lights, fluorescent runners on, and sets it on a nearby table where it can illuminate the whole room. She then holsters her shotgun, only to pull out an even more confusing set of tools, a digital camera, and a can of spray paint. It's like I've done this before, Ronnie.
Yeah.
She gives that.
Time to vandalize.
No, literally. She gives the can in her left hand a good shake, switches the camera in her right hand on, and steps up to the blackboard while looking at the camera's side-mounted screen. After recording one set of symbols, she covers it with a thick layer of paint, then moves on to the next. I clicked the wrong button.
Sensei.
Doctor.
レッスン1。妙な図形やラテン語の文章とかは絶対に読むな。見つめるな。
Lesson 1. Never look at strange symbols or read anything written in unusual languages, like Latin. Good summon the devil.
機械の目で記録しておいて、後で注意深く調べればいい。現物はその場で塗りつぶすか何かして破壊しろ。
Use the camera to record them from later, then paint over the original. Now that she mentions it, Koji realizes that she's only looking at the screen of her camera, even then only in short glimpses and never directly at any of the drawings. He understands what she's saying, but it still doesn't make any
一
sense.
体どういう
But you have to.
You really want to summon a fucking demon, Ronnie?
Yeah, she's recording it for later, obviously.
ここまで深入りしたんなら高額のために黙って聞いておけ。
Now that you've come this far, you better shut up and listen for your own
あ
good.
と水晶球とか鏡の類も危ない。下手に壊すとやぶ蛇になったりするから、とりあえず布でもかぶせるかペンキを浴びせて封印しろ。
Things like crystal balls and mirrors are dangerous. Anything can happen if you break them, so it's best to cover them with a cloth or paint over them for the time being. Koji begins to fear that this doctor might be even crazier than Fuminori. Despite the burst of energy he received from the vodka, Koji is still exhausted from his night in the well. The fear is affecting his body, making him dizzy and nauseous. Soon the walls are covered in black paint and the stale air is thick with the smell of turpentine.
とりあえずこんなところか。
That should do for now, Ryoko says with relief, then tosses the empty can aside and puts away her video camera.
オーガイって人はどうなったんです
What happened to Ogai?
Koji asks, supporting himself against a nearby table.
ああ、そこにいたよ。
Huh? Oh, he was over there. Without stopping her examination of the papers on the writing table, Ryoko points nonchalantly to a Chinese-style screen standing in one corner of the room. He was there. Well, he was there. Her clinical choice of tense makes her meaning instantly obvious. Brody, stop gooning. This is a gross
you're
setting.
This is what I'm paid to do. Yeah.
The urge to see for himself is irresistible. Koji staggers across the room to the screen, taking the utmost care not to look at the scaly octopus thing that is painted on it. Behind the screen is a large, easy chair. Although he's never met the man before, Koji is fairly certain that the person sitting in it is Ogai Masahiko. Wait, what? Oh, it's a dead body.
Yeah.
Look at that, so awesome.
Nah.
Ew.
He still has gums.
Yeah, it does. That's pretty yuck.
Pretty sus.
Ogai's corpse must have shrunk significantly while drying in this sealed chamber. The body is barely the size of a child's, with only the business suit hanging from the bones offering any hint of Ogai's former stature.
Shoot it.
His empty eye sockets and wide open jaw are filled with darkness, the same darkness that surrounded Koji at the bottom of the well. Compared to those gaping voids, a tiny hole in Ogai's right temple is almost demure. Demure. The revolver that he presumably used to kill himself is still clenched in his dangling right hand. It looks like a child's toy compared to Ryoko's shotgun. Ryoko must have noticed Ogai's corpse while she was spray painting the walls, and still she kept working without batting an eyelash. Impressive, though not exactly surprising after what she's been through. Or what he's been through. It's getting difficult to remember the last time he spoke to someone sane. But if not for her, Koji reminds himself with a bitter smirk he would have ended up joining this mummified corpse here, and no one would have ever found him. Koji's vision suddenly dims. He's pushed himself too hard, and the spiritus vodka can't help him anymore. He collapses to the floor, unable to hang on to his slipping consciousness, and the last thing he sees are Ogai Masahiko's gaping eye sockets staring at him. Can't hang. When he wakes, Koji finds himself lying on something dry and soft. Bed is a bed. He thinks to himself, even one that smells of mold and dust, and especially after sleeping in cold mud all night. There are no lights hanging from the ceiling, but the soft, warm light of a lamp fills the room. Simple furnishings, non-existent decor. Koji realizes that he's in Ogai's cabin, in the bedroom that he searched before Fuminori pushed him into the well.
お目覚めかい。
Oh my god, she's hot. You awake. Ryoko is sitting in a chair against the wall, her expression blank as the studies the piled. God damn it. Ryoko is sitting in a chair against the wall, her expression blank as she studies the pile of documents on the table in front of her. She must have brought them up from Ogai's underground lab. She turns a page and takes a bite from the sandwich in her free hand.
食べる元気があるようならそこに。
If you feel up to eating, there's food over there. Without looking up from the files, she gestures towards the convenience store bag sitting on the
俺
nightstand.
をどうやってここに？
How did I get here?
Koji can't imagine that a woman, even a woman like Ryoko, could have climbed out of the well with him on her back.
あの地下室、本棚の裏に開かない扉があってね。
There's a door behind one of the bookshelves down there, Ryoko mutters, taking care not to let the explanation interfere with her reading or eating.
苦労して破ってみたら別荘のボイラー室に出た。反対側は薄くモルタルを塗って隠してあったんだな。
When I finally got it open, it led to the boiler room underneath the cabin. The other side was hidden with a thin layer of mortar.
隠し部屋に機材を運び込んでからドアを塞いで、その後は井戸から出入りしていたんだろう。周到なもんだ。
I figured that's how he got most of his supplies down there. Once he had everything he needed, he could seal it up and use the well instead. Pretty thorough.
そこまでして隠さなきゃならないものがあの部屋にあったんですか？
Was there really something in there that he needed to hide?
昔はね、それにさっきまでも。
There used to be. This is the last of it. Having finished her sandwich, Ryoko picks up some unsorted papers with her free hand and waves them in the air.
世界中の研究者が誰もかも学会で演壇に登ってリサイタルをやりたがるわけじゃないのさ。
Not all scholars want to get on the stage at a symposium and show their research of the world,
自
you
分
know.
一人が秘密に通じて、最後には自分のしたいもろとも秘密の墓穴にしまい込んで満足するような、そういう変態野郎もいるんだよ。
Some nutcases get their kicks by learning secrets no one else knows, and by being buried with those secrets in hidden tombs that no one will ever find. Koji still hasn't the slightest idea what Ogai's secret might have been. From what Ryoko said in that tunnel, however, he can guess that Fuminori is somehow involved.
文則はどうなっちまったんですか？
What happened to Fuminori?
Koji asks desperately, no longer caring who he gets answers from.
地下の死体と文則と一体どういう関係があるんです？先生は一体何を追いかけてるんです？
What does he have to do with the body down there? Just what is that you're after?
今それを調べてるところだよ。
That's what I'm trying to find out. Ryoko replies coldly as though Koji's concern are none of hers.
私が咲坂君から聞いたところによると、彼は王外の親族から調査を頼まれているという話だった。
Sakisaka told me that he was acting on behalf of one of Ogai's relatives.
ええ。それは俺も聞いてます。
Yeah, he told me the same thing.
ん？そうか、一貫してるんだな。
Oh, well, at least that's consistent. Ryoko pulls several sheets of loose leaf paper from a different
だが
file.
王外に血縁者はいない。私は咲坂君が嘘をついているものとばかり思っていた。
The truth is that Ogai has no relatives. I thought that Sakisaka was simply
だ
lying.
がもう一つの可能性を考えるべきだった。彼は王外の親族を名乗る何者かにそそのかされていたのかもしれない。
However, there was another possibility I should have considered. He might have been tricked by someone claiming to be Ogai's family. Ryoko pauses, then looks sidelong at Koji.
サヤという名前に心当たりは？
Does the name Saya ring a bell?
さや？
Dun dun dun.
いいえ。誰なんですか？
Saya? No. Who is that?
Who is that?
さて誰なのか何なのか読めば読むほどわからなくなっていく。
Who or what is the question, but the more I read, the less I understand. She sighs bitterly, then returns her attention to the papers in her hand.
間違いなく言えるのは、そいつが王外の研究の核にあるものらしいということだけだ。
All I can say for sure is that it appears to have been the focus of Ogai's
もし
research.
咲坂君がこのサヤと呼ばれるものとすでに深く関わっているのなら、彼はもう引き返せないところまで踏み込んでいるということになる。
If Sakisaka If Sakisaka is involved with whatever Saya is, then he's already past the point of no return. The icy certainty in Ryoko's voice sends a chill down Koji's
だ
spine.
としたらどうするつもりなんです、文則を。
If so, then what will you do?
I'm gonna throw punches fucking throat with my shotgun.
Just fucking shoot him. Ow, ow.
He has to ask, even though he already knows the
さっきも
answer.
言ったよね。1年前の私も手元に銃を持ってればってどれだけ後悔したか知れないんだ。
It's like I said, Ryoko replies, smirking at the tension in Koji's voice. I have no idea how many times I've wished I'd killed Ogai when I had the chance.
もう二度と後悔するつもりはない。
I won't make the same mistake twice.
俺が警察に行けば済むことです。
If I go to the police, it'll all be over.
Ryoko doesn't respond as though she didn't even hear what Koji just
文
said.
則がやったことは殺人未遂です。俺が訴えればあいつは犯罪者として。
Fuminori tried to kill me.
Koji continues persistently.
If I report him, he'll be arrested and...
目撃者は
Bitch.
物証は咲坂君が君を殺す動機は
What'd you say, Ronnie?
I was like, God, I sound like a bitch.
No. Ryoko cuts him off harshly. You have witnesses? Proof? What was Sakisaka's motive?
なあ、トノ君。君は警察の仕事についてひどく勘違いしている。
You know, Tono, you're completely misunderstanding what the police do.
彼らの職分は正義を貫くことでも、市民の安全を守ることでもない。
Their job isn't to fight for justice or even to keep people safe.
そんな。
What are you saying? Say it, Doc!
Say it! Fucking say it!
不条理な物事について、きちんと条理に沿った体裁を整える。これが警察っていう役所の仕事だ。
Finding reasonable explanation for unreasonable events. That's what the police are for.
彼らの思考はいつだってより理解しやすい方、より説明しやすい方に傾いていく。
They will always choose to believe the simplest, most logical explanation.
それこそ水が低い方へ低い方へと流れていくように。
Just like how water always flows downhill.
事実がどうあろうと彼らには興味ない。彼らが感知するところではないんだよ。小説より奇なる事実なんてものは。
They aren't interested in the truth. They don't know or care that the truth is often stranger than fiction.
そこまで決めつけることないでしょう。話してみなければわかりませんよ。
They can all be like that. I won't know until you try.
そう、わからない。そこが問題だ。
Exactly. Ryoko states as she pulls another sandwich out of the bag. That's the problem.
And she's good at making sandwiches? Hell yeah.
Oh my god, she's perfect. She hasn't spared Koji a second glance since looking at him earlier. Even while talking, her attention is always focused on the papers in front of her.
君が錯乱した親友の手で井戸に落とされたと主張する。
Let's say you accuse your friend of pushing you into a well.
すると、警察はあと2つばかり真実の候補を用意するだろう。君が狂言自殺で親友を陥れようとしてるとか。
In addition to your statement, the police will consider two alternative versions of the truth. Maybe you're making it all up to frame your friend.
あるいはもっとシンプルに、事故で井戸に落ちた君が錯乱して親友を疑ってるとか。
Or, even simpler, it was an accident. You fell into the well by yourself, and the shock has made you paranoid or delusional.
この3案のどれかが捜査っていうレースで勝ちを競うわけだ。勝ち馬は誰にもわからない。
These three possibilities will compete to see which comes out with the most convincing evidence. No one knows which will be the winner.
こんな博打に君は身代潰すまでかける気かい？
Are you willing to bet everything you have on your truth? Koji has no response. Can he really explain with cold, clear logic what drove Fuminori to do what he did? How can he convince anyone else when he doesn't even understand it himself?
そして一番の問題は
And there's the biggest problem, Riko says calmly, cutting into Koji's thoughts.
君がそういうランチキ騒ぎに手こずっている隙に咲坂文則を追い詰めるチャンスを逃すことだよ。
While you're raising hell with the police, we'll lose our chance to corner
身
Sakisaka.
辺で火の手が上がれば彼は手遅れになる前にさっさと姿をくらますだろう。
If
そう
he,
やってまた万事が振り出しに戻る。
God damn it.
Every time with you.
If he sees trouble coming, he'll go into hiding. And we'll be right back at square one. She paused to take a bite of her sandwich before finishing.
私がオーガイを取り逃がしたようにね。
Just like when I let Ogai get away.
We gotta kill him.
Why are you gooning?
6 dots, me and I call.
A heavy silence falls upon them, with only the soft rustle of pages turning in Ryoko's hands to mark the passage of time.
教えてくださいよ先生。
Please tell me, Doctor.
Koji says, his hushed voice breaking through the quiet.
あなたが警察を差し置いてまで処刑しようなんて思うほど、そこまで許しがたいことって何なんです？オー
What
ガイ
crime
って
is
人
so
は
unfor...
あの地下室で何をやってたんですか？
Got your bitch ass.
Ah, you got me. You got me. What crime is so unforgivable that you've determined to take justice into your own hands? What exactly did Ogai do in that room down there?
Once again, Ryoko ignores Koji's question. This time, however, Koji doesn't back down. His silent glare demands her attention as she pours through the documents before her.
Self-explanatory.
After some time, Ryoko rearranges the papers in her hands and sets them aside, as though having come to some conclusion. She then turns her chair to face Koji for the first time since he awoke.
なあ、殿くん。
Listen, Tono. Her heart belies the calmness of her voice.
君はここいら辺で降りた方がいい。ナスカ日光の温泉でゆっくり羽を伸ばして、何もかも忘れる気になってから東京に戻ってきなさい。
You need to get out of this while you still can. There are a lot of fine hot springs around here. Go relax and don't return to Tokyo until you're ready to forget any of this ever happened.
忘れろと。
Forget.
Koji feels anger rise within him.
近江は俺の恋人でした。文則は俺の親友でした。それを忘れろと。
Omi was my girlfriend. Fuminori was my best friend. And you're telling me to forget about them?
そうだ、忘れろ。これは提案じゃない。警告だ。
Yeah, forget about them. Ryoko replies coolly, rebuffing Koji's anger. This isn't a suggestion, it's a warning.
今まではどうであれ。これからの君の人生に、その二人は一切関わりを持たないだろう。断言してもいい。
Whatever they were to you, that's all over now. You'll never see them again, I guarantee it.
じゃあ筑波は？
Then what about Tsukaba?
Koji shouts, unable to control himself.
彼女はどうなる？あの子は電話口で俺に助けを求めてた。どこかでひどい目に遭わされてたんだ。
She begged me for help on the phone. Something terrible has happened to her.
そりゃ何十時間前の話かね。
And how many hours ago was that?
She's dead.
私が君を助けてから何時間経ったと思う。そうでなければ、井戸の中の君があと何時間持ったと思う。
Do you know how much time has passed since I saved you? How much longer do you think you would have lasted down there if I hadn't? She
遅
shakes.
すぎるよ。彼女はとっくに死んでるだろう。誰もが君ほど幸運だなんて思わない方がいい。
She shakes her head, then declares coldly, It's too late. She's already dead. Don't expect everyone to be as lucky as you.
あんたは。
You heartless.
Koji growls, unable to suppress his anger.
あの井戸で俺の死体を見つけても、あんた、なんとも思わなかったんだろうな。
If you'd found me dead in the well, you wouldn't have thought anything of it, would you?
そりゃ覚悟してたからね。まさか生きてるとは思わなかったよ。
I was prepared for that, of course. Ryoko says with a shrug unfazed by Koji's ire. I hardly expected to find you alive. That goon, dude. It is futile to argue with this woman, Koji realizes. Her values are fundamentally different from his own. Nothing he can say will ever move her. Koji gets out of bed and stands on his shaky legs.
どのくらい俺は寝てたんです。
How long have I been asleep? Let me get a sandwich.
ざっと半日ばかり。 消耗した後速やかに休息が取れるってのは羨ましいね。若いうちだけだよ、そういう無茶が効くのは。
About half a day. I envy your ability to recover so quickly. It's a privilege of youth, so enjoy it while it lasts. Koji looks at his watch and sees that it's 4 in the morning, which means that it was already early evening when Ryoko rescued him. He can't believe that he survived in that well for almost 2 days. Now that the gaps in his memory have been filled and his sense of time has returned, he realizes that it's already Sunday morning. Ryoko's right, a lot of time has passed since he spoke to Yo on the phone. Koji grabs a sports drink and 2 jelly packs from the bag of food that Ryoko brought, then heads for the door. His legs are still a little unsteady, but he can compensate for that with sheer willpower.
念のため聞かせてもらうが、どこに行くつもりだい？
Just to make sure, mind telling me where you're going?
東京へ。
Tokyo.
Why'd you say it like that?
That's what he said. Tokyo.
Koji replies brusquely, his tone as hard as hers.
つくばようはまだ間に合うかもしれない。彼女を助けに行きます。
Tsukuba might still be alive. I'm going to save her.
人の話を聞かないやつだね、君は。
You just don't listen, do you?
聞く耳持たないのはお互い様でしょ
I can say the same to you. Boom!
Koji is expecting Ryoko to watch him go with that cold, mocking smile of hers. Instead, however, she sighs heavily and rests her jaw in her hands.
もう少し待つ気はないか。こいつのどこかに。
Can't you wait a little longer? Somewhere in here. She thrusts her chin at the mountain of papers in front of
オ
her.
ーガイがサヤと名付けたものが何だったのか、答えが隠されてるはずだ。そいつを突き止めて、ちゃんと対策を講じてから動くべきだと私は思う。
Is the answer to what this thing called Saya is. Think you should wait until I figure that out and come up with a plan to deal with it.
う。つくばが死んでると決めてかかってるあんたなら、当然そう思うでしょうね。
You would think that since you're already convinced that Tsukuba is dead.
In truth, Koji is extremely uneasy about going it alone. At the same time, however, he knows that he mustn't depend on Ryoko. She's made it clear that she doesn't care about saving lives. Teaming up with her would only make it more difficult to salvage anything out of this nightmare.
殿くん、
Tono, Ryoko calls just before Koji steps out the door.
仮にも一度は殺されかかってるんだ。もう二度と殺されるな。
You almost got killed once already. Don't let it happen again. She picks something up from the table and tosses it to Koji. When Koji catches it, he feels its solid weight fill his hand.
これは。
This is.
You're fucking welcome, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Koji stares at the menacing shape of cold metal. It's a revolver, the same one that was clenched in Ogai's skeletal
あ
fist.
と4発入ってる。安全装置はない。引き金を引くだけで弾が出る。
It has 4 more shots. There's no safety, so just pull the trigger to fire.
どこでどう使うかは君の判断に任せるよ。
How you use it is up to you. Yeah, you goon at everything I give you, Ronnie.
Bro, I'm so fucking good at gooning.
No. If Koji were his usual cautious self, he would not hesitate to reject the dangerous offering. The only time you truly need a gun is when all hope is lost. He'd prefer not to fight a losing war. And yet, without even knowing it, Koji has already set foot into Ryoko's world. Choosing the instinct over reason, he accepts the small but deadly weapon and stuffs it in his pocket.
Yeah.
There's no question that Koji intends to save Yo and bring Fuminori to answer for his crimes. In the back of his mind, however, he can hear the footsteps of ruin approaching. When he steps out of the cabin's front door, Koji shivers as the wind tears into his skin. To his surprise, the outside air is even colder than the mud at the bottom of the well. Perhaps the cramped space mitigated the cold somewhat. If he had been exposed to this chill all night long, he would surely have frozen to death. Koji finds 2 cars parked in the yard. The smaller car next to his must be Ryoko's. When he sits behind the wheel of his car, he gets some relief from his feeling that he has taken the first step, however small, back into his world. He sips a sports drink, wetting his parched throat, then washes down some jelly. His stomach rebels at the sudden influx of food after 36 hours on empty, but he managed to force down the urge to vomit. Koji needs the energy. No matter how hard it is, he must regain enough stamina to overcome the challenges ahead. After forcing down as much food as he can handle, Koji leans back in his seat and takes a short break. When he begins to feel like himself again, he reaches into the back seat and pulls his spare cell phone out of his bag. You have a spare cell phone for some reason, Ronnie?
Yeah, my burner phone.
Oh,
Got two
God.
phones.
I got
One for the
two
hose.
phones. He never expected that carrying two phones would be such a stroke of luck. As he calls up Fuminore's number and prepares to hit send, Koji is overcome by a flood of emotion. Rage, despair, sorrow, pity. He is unable to decide what to feel towards his friend. However, there is no time to dwell in the past. Every second lost diminishes the chance of saving Omi and Yo. Koji refused to consider that it may have already been too late. He steels himself and presses a button, then holds the phone to his ear as it rings. The shrill sound seems to go on for longer than it has ever in his life. Right now, Fuminore's phone must be displaying the name of the caller. Koji wonders what his reaction will be when he sees it.